How many four-letter words can I use on that?
Transfers to a double. Cheddar is driving. Nothing yet. Takedown, Michael Cheddar.
Oh, Nick, I'm a top guy, so I love top wrestling.
Hale trying to stick him. He does. Maximus Hale the fall.
So I think that wrestling is the greatest sport on earth.
What's going on, everybody? It's Nick Kosko with On3 Sports, another edition of On3 Wrestling. With me today is Wisconsin head coach Chris Bono. Coach, appreciate the time and you joining the program. How's the summer been? How are you? And, just going into next year, I got to feel that there's a lot of excitement for 2024-25.
Yeah, we're excited. Summer's been going great. We, after the NCAA tournament, right, it's always a grind with the transfer portal being open, trying to keep all your kids that you have here, recruiting them again, making sure that they're on board with what's going on, and then just dealing with the landscape of changing athletics is just it's a very challenging time right now. But, the sun's shining, it's 80 degrees, and we're just trying to enjoy the summer a little bit.
Absolutely. And so far, it's been good for you guys on the coaching front. You just announced yesterday Tony Cassiope is going to be joining the staff, four-time All-American from Iowa, great heavyweight over the last 5 to 10 years, or one of the best, I should say. Talk to me about the process of bringing him onto the staff, bringing him to Madison. What was that like? And I got to imagine you guys are pretty excited to have Cassiope in the room now.
Yeah, well, it all started kind of in the middle of the year. When Coach Gross was just, a little torn about what he wanted to do moving forward. And, we talked to him a little bit, and his competition, he wanted to keep competing. His training wasn't that great because of the coaching duties. He wants to start a club here in Wisconsin. And so we sat down, and we knew the change was coming for a while, and I'm happy to say that, Gross is still with us. He's our RTC coach. He's going to be training every day. He's starting a successful club about 25 miles away from Madison. So it's very, very, it's a very good thing for us because now we've added another position. We keep Gross around, and then we get to add another position. And, when looking at our roster a little bit, and, we're bringing in, we've got Mo coming in from Wartburg at 197 pounds. Mm-hmm. We've got Braxton Amos in the program for another 2 years. We've got another, number one kid in the country at heavyweight that's also playing football. It only made sense for us to really go after a bigger guy. And, we've Tony Cassiope's always been a wonderful person. To me, to Coach Reeder, to, very respectful always when we see him. His family's always been wonderful. His little brothers have been coming up to our RTC. They live an hour away from us. So it's always been just, I knew he was a good person. And that's what first and foremost, that's what we want in our program. And when I sat with him and just said, hey, are you interested at all? And he said, I'm very. And, it was, we kind of put the screws to him and said, all right, can you get up here Monday? He came up, we sat with him, we showed him campus and said, hey, Tony, we're for real. We want this to work. And he's like, I do too. And push come to shove, everybody was on the same page. And he's going to be awesome, man. He starts next week. He's going to the Pan Am games with Mo already. And I can already tell, man, he's first class. He wants to get things done. And he's willing to do anything. And that's who we are. So he's going to fit in really nice in our program.
And speaking of Mo, who you're referring to, Masoma Endine, the two-time national champion at the Division III level, he just transferred into the program and committed a couple of weeks ago. He was obviously a big name coming from maybe the diehard fan knows him, but maybe the casual fan doesn't know. What does he bring to the table? You just mentioned he's a 197-pounder, very talented, and obviously if he's going to be working with Coach Cassiope, I got to imagine that's a great pairing. And also, what did you see in Mo to bring him into Wisconsin?
Oh man, I tell you, we watched him wrestle. We really watched him wrestle, right? You're bringing a kid in from D3. You've got some question marks a little bit, but as soon as I got him on campus, man, again, an unbelievable person. His academic goals are off the chain. His athletic goals are off the chain. And what really I liked about him was he didn't start really wrestling until a sophomore in high school. He's got so much upside that he could in his wrestling. He's going to be in our master's program in real estate, which is one of the top real estate schools in the world. And he just wants to be very successful in all aspects of his life. And that's what we want here. And I'm excited for him. He had a great showing, U23s, heading to the Pan Am games next week, and then the World Championships, hopefully, coming up. And then, we get 1 year with him, and we're very, very excited to get him going here at the university.
With your upper weights, they're very talented with Mo. And then you just mentioned Braxton Amos, who's been dinged up a little bit, but both are 197 pounders. But you mentioned Amos does have 2 years left with you guys in the program. Do you have a plan of how you're going to balance out those two guys right now? What does that look like moving forward, especially with Braxton's international aspirations as well on the senior level, and of course what he wants to do with Madison?
Well, obviously, it's no secret that he's moving up to heavyweight. And so we're excited for him. He's rehabbing an injury. He's getting close to getting back out there, and we're excited to get him back out there. It was hard not having him around last year. He spent a lot of time at the Olympic Training Center. He's one of the staples of our program. He's a leader, and we just are excited to get him back in there, being around the guys. And he's here every day, very committed to getting healthy. Spending the whole summer here getting healthy, and we're excited to get him back out there. And again, he's going to be a great partner for Mo. And again, he's been around us a long time. Remember, he's taken a gray shirt year now. He's had 2 years in the program. He's taken an Olympic year. So he's had 4 years around us and knows what our program's about. And we've got a great little freshman class that redshirted last year that he's mentoring. And we're excited to get Braxton, back out there wearing that W on his chest for sure.
How did he balance out the rehab? And you just mentioned he's going up to heavyweight. He's obviously a really big dude. He's he's one of the stronger dudes I've seen over the last couple of years. How did he balance out rehabbing his injury and then basically bulking up to be a Big Ten heavyweight? As we all know, Big Ten heavyweights are almost a different breed compared to the other conferences.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people don't realize when he was making 97, he was starting at about 240. And so, it's been a natural transition. He's already 245 or so, and he's back lifting now, and he's back getting on his nutrition plan. He's able to do all those things right now. So I have no doubt in my mind, start of the season, he'll be 250, 255. And the good thing about Braxton is people don't understand is he can wrestle in all positions, right? He's good in Greco. He's good in freestyle. He understands collegiate. He can ride a little bit. He's going to be a very, very dangerous guy to wrestle at heavyweight. He's always going to be in shape. He enjoys, he's always doing the extra things when he's running. So he's going to be very, very dangerous at 250, 255 pounds. He's short. He's going to be very hard to wrestle. He's compact. He's, like you said, he's strong as an ox. He's going to have a bright future here for these last couple of years.
Looking at some of the young guys that are going to be coming up now, who are you excited about? You just mentioned how a lot of guys redshirted last year, and it's going to be a bit of a new look lineup for you guys in 24-25 compared to last year. Obviously, Eric Barnett did graduate, ended on the podium in his career, but who are some of the young guys that you expect to step up, especially on the lighter weight side?
Yeah, we're excited, right? We're going to move our Nicola Rivera is going to move down from 133 to 125. We've got a guy, Zan Fugit, who redshirted. He's been wrestling wrestling all summer. He wrestled a bunch of matches for us last year at 33 and 41. He's from Nixon, Missouri. Very talented kid, Greco kid, freestyle kid. We're very excited about him. He's going to be a great addition. And then 141 is going to be a dogfight with a couple of guys: Brock Bobzine, Dylan Coy. We've got a couple of guys in there. We got a transfer in from Central Michigan too, Wyatt Skiba, who's going to be challenging at 125 pounds. 49, we got Joe Zargo back, right? Your New Jersey guy. Bergen Catholic kid who was again, another leader who gives us his all. Very excited about that, guys. And then, 174, it looks like we're going to have Luke Condon, a Poway kid, very, very talented. Is going to be, I think he's going to have a wonderful career here. And then, kind of our guy nobody really knows about is Dylan Russo. Dylan Russo is a 3-time state champ out of Ohio at 220. And we're moving him down to 184 pounds. He's already 95 pounds. He came here and lost a lot of weight real quick. And he's going to be a welcome addition, 184 pounds. He's from Team Moran, trained well, hard-nosed kid. And he's going to have a bright future here. But like you said, we're going to be very, very young. And our season's going to go by how our freshmen do. Our freshmen have good years. We're going to have a pretty good year. But we need those guys to develop. They've had a great year in the room. And, again, a great career. They're going to have 4 more years with us here.
It's interesting you mentioned how you're going to go as far as these the young guys carry, how the freshmen carry it. That seems to be the way of the sport right now. All the powers that be, especially in the Big Ten, they rely on these freshmen, these redshirt freshmen, sometimes just redshirt sophomores. They basically come in and make a big impact right away, whether it's scoring points in the national tournament, becoming All-Americans, and heck, even becoming national champions. Is that kind of the approach that you guys have been taking, looking for those instant impact guys rather than say, we're going to develop it for 2 years, or is it still a delicate balance of both?
Yeah, it's a very delicate balance. If you can upgrade your team, through the transfer portal, you try to upgrade it, but you got to make sure you keep everybody on your team happy. It's a very delicate balance. We want to win. We want to win right now. But again, you want to make sure that you're developing, for the future as well. So it's a very, very delicate balance. We upgraded, with bringing Mo in, and it works for us because everybody, that we need in the lineup has a spot to be in the lineup. And the bottom line is if you want to be in the lineup, you got to figure out how to beat some guys and get in the lineup. So we have a lot of guys that actually are going to be fighting for some of those weights, trying to get in there. But again, a very, very, very delicate balance. You're recruiting these kids at 16 years old now. And, by the time they get here, you got to hope they're ready to roll right away.
A little bit off the mat stuff right here, Coach, is, you look at the landscape of college wrestling, and you and I have talked before about the portal, NIL. Has anything changed in terms of how you guys operate as a program in the approach to that? Because I think the biggest question mark for the sport of wrestling, maybe outside the Big Ten, if it didn't get into the Big Ten, is the possible revenue sharing of college athletics, and now the ability to directly pay the athletes, particularly in football, basketball, however that's going to shake out over the next year and a half, maybe even 2 years. Have you guys had conversation as a program, as an administration? What are those talks been like when that all came out within the last couple of weeks?
Obviously, we've got great leadership here. Chris McIntosh, our AD, is unbelievable. He keeps us up to date every time something changes, everything that's going on. We're just still working through how the revenue share is going to work. Obviously, I still don't know if everybody, the higher ups know how it's going to work. Mm-hmm. But, when the NCAA comes down and tells us exact numbers and all those things, and our AD sits down with us and tells us what we have, what we don't have, then we accept it, we roll on. So I'm excited to see where it's going. Happy for these kids that they're going to get paid. We embrace it. We're excited, and they deserve what's coming their way. And we're going to keep rolling along with what the NCAA allows us to do, and what our administration leads us, and how they tell us we're going to operate. So, but no, we are the University of Wisconsin. We have great leadership, and they're going to definitely direct us, in the right way, and help us as much as they possibly can to be competitive and be at the top of that, at the NCAAs.
I'm curious of your opinion on how how it's going to work. Again, it seems like nobody knows anything at this point, or it just constantly changes. So you always have to adapt your thinking. If it goes directly to football and basketball, because they are the revenue generating sports, and there are still a select few schools that come out on the positive end in terms of wrestling and basically all the Olympic sports. How do you think that balances out with wrestling and the Olympic sports, and where that goes? I mean, do you think some of that's going to trickle down, or is it just now it's almost
so it helps that we are in a great conference, mm-hmm. right? And it helps that wrestling is one of the top sports in the Big Ten conference. When you're looking at viewership on the Big Ten network, when you're looking at our conference tournament, so I think there's going to be ways to get money in kids' hands some way, right? And like I keep telling you, our leadership's amazing. They're going to find ways to create opportunities for our kids. Our conference is trying to create opportunities for kids. So I have no doubt in my mind. That's something, and again, like you said, it could change, 30 minutes from now after we talk. And until it's finalized, right, I don't know how it's going to work out. I've got faith and trust in our leadership that they're going to take care of whatever, however it is. And the Big Ten is wonderful. Leadership in the Big Ten is amazing. And I know they care about the student athletes, and I know they care about our teams. And eventually there's going to be a way. And, however it is, whenever it is, then like I said, we accept it. And we figure out how to get it done.
I appreciate your vision for the long-term future of your team, the sport in general. I don't know if it's going to happen personally, but for the Big Ten, because of the expansion, the conference realignment that's happened throughout college athletics, we're going to see it in the Big Ten and the SEC this year. But for the Big Ten specifically, you look at Oregon, Washington, USC, and UCLA. Oregon's a team or a school that's had a program in the past. I don't know if you've been told or if you're hearing anything. What do you think any of those four schools, if all four or zero, is there any long-term plan to either bring back or introduce Division I wrestling to those programs, considering the Big Ten is the premier conference? I got to imagine there's at least whispers or maybe an attempt to do it at least one of those West Coast schools.
Yeah, I know nothing. I've heard nothing positive or negative on that side of things, so I can't even speculate. I have no idea what's going on at those 4 schools, or whether it's a yes or a no. I've heard nothing, so I can't. I'm not educated enough to even talk about that.
Fair enough there. So last time I talked to you, and it's been an ongoing conversation about the dual meet and ways to grow the sport. I've seen a lot of people on board with trying to do something in terms of a dual meet championship, make it a different way to crown the team champion. I got to imagine your opinion has not changed, or has it strengthened in one way or the other regarding that topic? What have you seen from the last year where there was a little bit more conversation about it?
I love the dual meet. You know what I mean? I love the dual meet. And I think we should put more importance on the dual meet somehow. I'm kind of an outside the box thinker, where maybe the dual meets qualify you, for the national tournament some way. Qualifying all 10 guys through dual meets, as teams. And, I think people would start falling in love with the dual meet more, and not resting as many guys, and putting our superstars out there more and more, if it mattered, getting to the national tournament. As far as the national dual meet championship, I love that stuff. I think we should. The more opportunities, to win national championships, the better. Now, I also am a big I've always said this, big proponent of never changing what we have right now. Our individual national tournament is absolutely amazing. It's the best thing in college sports in my eyes. So, I wouldn't want to change that in any way. But yeah, dual meet championship, let's go. We put Coach Goodell out there, let him run the show, right? He's a big leader in that. Let him lead the show and figure out how to get it done, and with the higher ups, and let's figure out how to have a big bracket and have a national dual meet championship.
I think we need both you guys on some sort of new committee to get that going for sure. Chris Bono with me here on On3 Wrestling. Coach, really appreciate your time. A couple more for you. For yourself, and I'll make you be a little selfish right here. You were inducted into the Pittsburgh Wrestling Classic Hall of Fame after getting into another Hall of Fame just last year. What was that honor like for you a couple months ago? I know it's been, I know you're a big coach guy when it comes to it's the team, it's my guys, it's my guy. It's not about me, but I want you to talk about that honor, being honored for the Pittsburgh Wrestling Classic a little bit.
Well, it was an honor because I got to go back there and recruit. I got to go watch those best kids wrestle again, But no, you know what? As I get older, I realize, what we did back then was very, very special. I mean, it was 1992. Team USA hasn't beaten Pennsylvania in a long, long time. We go in there and we figure out, our head football coach here, Coach Fickle, gets a fall for us to be able to set us up, to go out there and beat Team Pennsylvania. But what was the coolest thing was I hadn't seen some of the leadership of the Pittsburgh Classic in, how many years that was. And to go back there and listen to the stories of how that event went down and all the preparation and all the things they remember when I wrestled in 1992 was absolutely amazing. Wonderful group of guys. I mean, people need to support the Pittsburgh Classic. They need to support everything that committee is doing, because they have put their lives into that event. And it was absolutely amazing to get back there and see all those guys again.
You just mentioned Coach Fickle, and he just appeared on Justin Bash's podcast, and he was talking about his wrestling career. And what are your conversations like with him? I don't know how much you interact with him on a daily basis, but him being the football coach, he's obviously a big figure in the athletic department and what he's doing with the Badger football program. But he was a great wrestler himself. I mean, does he pick your brain and vice versa? How do your conversations work out in the athletic?
Dude, it's every day. It's every day. We're in the sauna every single day together.
I love that.
Right? He does 3 days a week. He's in our back closet on the stair stepper. He's sweatshirt on, sweatpants, 100 degrees. Wednesdays he's on the stadium with John and that group. And then we're in the sauna every day for 45 minutes. So it is absolutely amazing. Right. He's a football coach with a wrestling mentality, and he's not one. He tells you, he comes in that wrestling room because it's life or death for him when he steps foot in there every single day. He's got to compete every single day. So it is absolutely wonderful to have someone at that level to bounce ideas off of, bounce our problems off of, to hear how he would handle it, to hear. And you know what? He's been through it all. Just because it's football. He's through the same situations that we are, whether it's recruiting, whether it's kids leaving, whether it's, how do you get a hold of kids? So it is absolutely amazing. And then to be able to talk wrestling, he is up to date. He knows who the recruits are. He knows what's going on. He knows high school wrestling coaches. He is not, he could step into a coaching role at a Division I wrestling program and not and be just as updated as the rest of us are. So it is absolutely amazing. We've formed an unbelievable friendship that has been, he's only been here a year and a half now, and he's outside the wrestling room. We enjoy dinners together. It is absolutely amazing.
You alluded to it before, and it just popped in my head. I'm curious now. You've seen a lot of the balance of wrestling and football. I would think going into college, they go a lot of hand. They go hand in hand. I did the same thing, albeit not at this high level, of course. But a lot of football players do wrestle, and vice versa. We've seen it now in the news a little bit more the past couple of weeks. The big one being Gable Steveson signing with the Buffalo Bills and trying to make that roster at the NFL after never playing football. And Iowa's Ben Keeter said he's going to focus on wrestling just this year. And who knows if he goes back to football or not after the next 10 months. What's that balance been like for you from your perspective, seeing those two guys make those decisions as well as within your own program?
I love it, right? I played football in high school too. And it was, it is understanding. I think the only thing that holds some of these guys back is kind of like Gable Steveson is kind of the awareness of what's going on, right? Athleticism, grit, determination. That right. I think wrestling obviously is at the top of the thing. I think he's gonna be great, right? But does he have that instinct, the football instinct? I think that's a big thing. It's like great wrestlers have that. They have that instinct. But you know what I mean? It's great. And I'm so happy that football coaches allow it. It helps everything. I remember last year, or a couple of years ago, Keanu Benton, who's now with the Pittsburgh Steelers, he was a state champion here in Wisconsin. He'd have his whole defensive lineman up here in the wrestling room during the summers for 45 minutes doing, stance motion and sprawl drills and, pulling guys down and running around them and using their hands. So I know that wrestling helps these guys. And again, for us to have a guy go to the NFL or to have people talking about wrestling on Sundays and talking about wrestling, on Saturdays on major broadcasts is very, very huge for our sport. So, kudos to all these guys that are trying it. It takes a lot of guts, and thankful for the coaches that allow them to keep doing it.
Well, Coach, I really appreciate your insight and your time. Any summer plans coming up? I mean, I know you're constantly recruiting, you're constantly moving around, you're constantly, you're doing everything, getting these guys prepared for the next season. When's the next day off?
Well, there are no days off, right? I mean, it's you say that, but it's actually true. Your phone's always ready to roll. You're always calling kids. You're always talking. You're always watching film. Even when you're at home at night, you can always get something done. So, but don't get me wrong, man. We relax a little bit, and we need it. But you're always trying to get that edge on somebody somehow. And I do enjoy things outside of wrestling. And when I can do them, I definitely get out there and try to do it.
Well, enjoy those beautiful Wisconsin summers while you can, Coach. I really appreciate the time. Hope to talk to you soon. And obviously, as we gear up for the upcoming wrestling season, looking forward to watching you guys on the mat.
Kudos to you, dude. I love listening to you call wrestling matches. I love what you do for our sport. Keep after it, buddy. You got a great future, and just appreciate all you do.
Appreciate you, Coach. Chris Bono of Wisconsin Wrestling with me right here on On3 Wrestling. Be sure to like and subscribe to this video. Check out on3.com as well and follow on all social channels. On3 Wrestling, another edition in the books. We'll see you next time.